Welcome back, everybody. This is the second part to the video series that we were doing recently, and this probably isn't going to be as long as the last one because I'm just going to be talking about the honorable mentions that didn't make it into the last video, but I still think they could potentially show up as DLC, maybe? I don't know. Before we begin, I did mention that I wanted to start the video by talking about something that I've always wanted in Smash Brothers. There's three things. Last video we talked about costumes and skins, same thing. So for every character they could have one, whatever. That's something I've always wanted. Today we're going to talk about something I've always also wanted in terms of the online mode. I've always wanted a ranking system. Now what I mean by a ranking system, for anybody out there who hasn't played a real fighting game, if you ever played Street Fighter, recently I've been playing a ton of Dragon Ball Fighters, and there's a ranking system that comes with like these type of games. It involves, you go into a battle, and if you win, you get a certain amount of points. If you lose, you drop down a certain amount of points, and there's like a ranking system, and like you can get paired up with people who are like pretty much the same ranking as you, and so that makes it so that you end up fighting people that are like pretty much on your level. Smash is like very much missing this. We need a mode like that. For example, like you'll go online and then you'll face like somebody who has just picked up the game basically, and you're like, I don't want to body this kid, but at the same time, it feels so good. And then in the next match, you end up fighting Zero. So, no. What we've all been doing so far is that we go online, we go for glory, and then we play a 2-stock 3-minute match in Final Destination, I think it is. I don't know. Any Omega stage, basically. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty fun and all, but again, like you don't get matched up with people who are pretty much on your level. You get matched up with people who have pretty good connection, like you can actually get a good match in, or pretty connection where you can't even do anything. Like you'll press a button and it'll happen 5 years from now. So yeah, above the whole ranking system, just make online better basically. Like just have a ranking system, have a filter where you can search for people with good connections and people who are around your level. And that would be really fun, honestly. Like people who are pretty bad at the game or just aren't that great, they could just play for fun and get bodied by people the same way they've been doing this whole time. Or they can just, go on ranks and then fight people who aren't as good either. And, they'll stay around the same area. And that could just, it promotes progression in general, like in the whole community as a whole. Like people just want to move up in ranks. That's just the nature of things. Like just as human beings, it is in our nature to want to improve, just get better at things, just move up in ranks. And I think that would promote just people getting better at the game, and it would do freaking wonders. The competitive scene would just be so much better this way, because you'll have a lot of newcomers that just maybe aren't so good at the game, but now through the ranking system, they're just actually climbing ladders and getting better and better and better instead of just getting bodied or ultimately just bodying somebody. I'm ranting. I really would like a ranking mode in this. That's the thing. And I could talk about it for hours, but it's pretty much just going to boil down to it's the good thing and make it because good thing. So without any further ado, let's just move on to the list of honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. That is the word I was looking for. I think Felix from Golden Sun would be a very good addition to the roster as Isaac's Echo Fighter, but I know with the whole Belmonts thing, like it's been already, like Sakurai already showed us that, yeah, a newcomer can have an Echo Fighter, but I would love to see Felix also being represented in Smash, but I think Isaac is the most iconic one out of the two. If we had to pick one, then obviously it's going to be Isaac. No matter what, it's going to be Isaac. So, and besides, like from the list that I already picked out of the people that already made it in, like the Echo Fighters that are already in, I wouldn't really take any of them out just to include Felix, So, yeah, but maybe down the line, maybe as DLC, I don't see why not. Like, it would give a rivalry to Isaac, and he'll have somebody to fight, and we can develop Golden Sun for Smash through that, It'd be kind of cool, I think. Next up on this list, we're just blasting through this list. Like, we're just going new character. We can't just, well, I mean, it's the honorable mentions. Like, what are we going to, there's no hype about it. Like, I don't really know if they're going to be in the game. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. This one is Ninten, obviously, because you saw the little, well, there was no, you know what I mean. But yeah, Ninten, I think he would be a pretty cool addition. I don't know if he would work as an Echo Fighter of Lucas or an Echo Fighter of Ness. Probably Ness, because they're pretty much the same character in general, but I would say just get moves from Lucas and moves from Ness, like their best moves, combine them. Like, don't give him the PK freeze, give him the PK That one, the one that's just that one, give him that one. You know, just get rid of like their worst moves and just make him an amalgamation of like all their good moves, but not to that extreme. Like make them, maybe he has all the best moves that they have, but they're just a little weaker. Because if he just had all the best moves from them, then nobody would just play with them anymore. They would just play with Nintendo. So yeah, but just give him like a mixture of the moves and make him really good. I guess that's, I don't know. I don't really know what you could do to make him too different, but that would be the only way I would see it to do it. I don't know if I would do it as DLC because I don't know if anybody's gonna pay money to just get a more refined version of Ness and Lucas, because I feel like people would just feel like they're getting ripped off at that point. But yeah, I mean, Nintendo, I wouldn't mind. I think he would be a cool addition. So next up on this list, I got Dixie Kong, and yeah, a lot of people would probably actually want her to be in the original roster instead of like a potential DLC or honorable mention. But the thing is that we got King K. Rool. Like, we have another rep for the DK series, and I think there's other series that deserve to get one too. Like F-Zero definitely deserved one. So I don't know. Like, you could argue that Isabelle could be interchangeable with Dixie Kong, but again, I think Animal Crossing should get another representative instead of, you know, DK just getting 2 new ones and having 4 altogether, while most of them have just 1. So, you know, just keep it fair. I mean, even if you put her out as DLC, people are gonna buy her. Like, people will want to play with her. Like, there's no question about it. And I think Diddy Kong's like rapid hit thing is no longer the tail swipe. Now he does like little fist things, I think, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure, but you know, you could just change that to the hair flips, and you know, just change the recovery, or make it like a surfboard that explodes or something. I don't know. Like, you could make Dixie Kong an echo of Diddy Kong. Just change a couple of things though. You can't just copy and paste it and call it a day, because you know, if you have Dixie Kong and she just doesn't use her hair, it's not really, it's not Dixie Kong. It's just not. It's something else. Somebody. We don't know. We don't know this character. And then last on my list of Echo Fighters, I have Octoling. Octoling, I think, would have been a good addition to have in the initial roster, but the only reason I would put it off is because I think Octoling as DLC is not that crazy of a thing, because again, the Inklings are pretty much fairly new, and I think, you know, the development team should actually give players a chance to actually get used to their mechanics, because we've never seen a mechanic like Inkling in Smash Bros. Like the whole like splatter somebody with ink so that your damages do a lot more damages. That's not the sentence I wanted to use, but that's what we're gonna go with. And you know, like, so she inks people, and you know, they take more damage. And the whole like holding shield and pressing B to charge your ink, and the whole ink management is gonna be new. So like throwing that whole mixture of new mechanics into a player's hand for the first time, and then saying, well, here you go, there's also another deviation of that if you want to try that out also. No, I think that's a little bit too much. I think it's better if we let people just get their hands on Inkling, you know, get the feel for the character, get good at it, and then you can throw in a deviation down the line with DLC. Like, I don't think anybody would be upset about that, and I think it makes a lot more sense this way. And now we're moving on to the newcomers. There's only 2. I forgot to mention how many newcomers and echoes. Well, that was it for the echoes. We covered all the echoes that I think are going to be honorable mentions. Maybe Ken. Ken would also be, you know, an honorable mention, because I think it's going to most likely be him. I don't know if it's really going to be Akuma. I just prefer it if it was Akuma. Like, it's my actual prediction would be Ken, but I'm getting off track here. There was, I think, 4 Echo Fighters I just mentioned, and now we're going to move on to the next 2, which are going to be newcomers. And my first newcomer, it's going to be Zero. Wait, what? Zero is an assist trophy? I'm not talking about that Zero. I'm talking about Nintendo
Cake
exclusive Zero. The Mega Man Zero series is my second favorite Mega Man series of all times, with Mega Man Battle Network being the first. And honestly, I would freaking love to see Mega Man Zero in Smash Bros. Rather than having Mega Man X Zero. That's too many zeros. Zero from Smash Bros. That's, you know, that one. That's what I want in Smash, actually. I changed my mind. I want Zero. Give me Zero. But in all seriousness, this version of Zero has actually been a Nintendo exclusive version of Zero. And I think it would make a lot more sense to have him in Smash. Like, he hasn't really been in any fighting game. Every time we have Zero in a fighting game, it's Zero from Mega Man X. And I would really love to see this one represented, because I think he's honestly the coolest one out of all of them. Like, sure, design-wise, a lot of people don't really like him too much, but I think he's really cool. I really love it. I love his design. I love the way he fights. Like, and for his moveset, you could do so much. Like, he is nuts. If you played Mega Man Zero, like, that game is ridiculously awesome, and it's pretty darn hard. Mega Man Zero 2 is very hard. Mega Man Zero 2 will leave you with battle scars. But anyway, if we can't have this Zero, at least, I mean, I would take, what are their names? Ale and Ash from Mega Man ZX. I would take them. I think they would make a cool addition too. Like, have them be like the female or male versions, depending on like which one you pick. Like Korin and what's his name, Robin. Like they both have the female and male versions. That could work for them too. And then if you had them like switching, you know, alloys, I think it was. If you have them switching like between the styles, like between all the other Mavericks and stuff like that, in the middle of battle, and each one has its own moveset, that would be ridiculous. That would be freaking amazing. Like, that would be so cool. And then just put Zero from Mega Man Zero as one of them. That would be really cool, actually. You know what? I think I would rather have that, actually. Nah, I still would rather have Zero. Zero's just, he's cool. I want Zero. And last, on my honorables mention, I have none other than... This is actually my personal hope, like my personal dream come true. It's not necessarily a prediction. It's mostly something I want, but it's not necessarily baseless either. Like, we have Nier Automata that got announced for the Switch. Like, so it would be kind of cool to see Nier Automata getting some representation with 2B. I would even take A2. A2 is actually my favorite one of the two, but 2B is more recognizable. And, you know, I think she would be really cool to have in Smash. Like, yeah, it's another sword fighter or whatever, but not really. Like, she has very different, like, fighting styles in the game, and we could just incorporate a little bit of everything into her fighting style. And I think she would be really, really cool. The only thing I would not know how to actually incorporate into the game is the fact that she has a little turret that's constantly shooting. I think that would be busted in Smash, but other than that, like, if they could somehow incorporate it as maybe a charge shot or the missile ones that she shoots, like, I think that would be really cool. Nier Automata is just... It's among my top 10 favorite games of all time. Like, it just snuck its way in there. It's such a hidden gem. Like, it deserves all praise that it ever got, and it's such an amazing game. Like, it really is. I would love to see 2B in Smash, especially because I could pause the screen at just the right time and get a good look at her beautiful, beautiful weapons. All jokes aside, I really would like to see 2B being added in Smash. I mean, that's just my personal thing, like something I really want personally. I mean, honestly, I actually want Goku, but you guys are not going to let me have it. You're just not going to let me have him. You're just going to fight me on it, so let's not talk about that then. You're not going to let me have him. No, but seriously, like, nobody's going to get mad at 2B being added into the game. Everybody's just going to... I think it would be really hype. It would be really hype to have her in there. And, you know, such a good game. Ah, the music in Smash for Nier Automata would be godlike. That would be so awesome. I would love that. I would just masturbate on the spot. Anyway, that's all the honorable mentions that we have for today. That concludes this video, I guess. I really still don't know how to end these things, you know? Hey, what's up, man? So, is my joke funny yet? No. Damn it!
Okay.
Weirdo.